Hey Cavaliers fans, this is Wyan Goldunger, and coming at you with two post-game shows in one video, talking about the Pacers game and last night's Thunder game. And I'll also look ahead to the tomorrow night's game against the Nuggets. So, let's start off with the game at Indiana. For some reason, Indiana has usually been a house of horrors for the Cavaliers. I think LeBron James' all-time at Indiana now is only 11-13. For some reason, the Cavaliers just struggle in Indiana. But they went in there on, I believe, Wednesday, and got the job done against a tough Pacers team, which I think has underperformed this season. Because with the additions of Jeff Teague, Thaddeus Young, I thought the Pacers could easily be top 5. And right now, NBA Eastern Conference standings, let's see. Right now, the Pacers are 6. So, I still think they've been a disappointment. Speaking of disappointing, I feel so bad for Milwaukee. For the Milwaukee Bucks, they were doing so well this season. And then they found out horrible news that Jabari Parker is done for the season with another torn ACL. And another terrible injury is Zach LaVine, because the Timberwolves also, I thought, were having a promising season, and then that took a huge blow with the LaVine injury. So I'm so sorry for both those teams, Milwaukee and Minnesota. But anyway, getting back to Wednesday's game against the Pacers. The Pacers, LeBron James versus Paul George is always the main match, has been the biggest matchup when these two go at it. It seems like the small forward is one of the best positions in all of the is probably the best position in all of the NBA, with guys like Paul George, Gordon Hayward, LeBron, Durant, who I think he'll get a world of boos tomorrow night at Oklahoma City, even though I think they should all applaud him for what he did for that organization. But that's a different topic. Anyway, so Gordon Hayward, Paul George, LeBron, Kevin Durant. Who are some other good small? Kawhi Leonard, obviously. For me, those are the top 5 small forwards. But getting back on track and talking about this Pacer game, NBA.com. I want to try and find some stats here. Speaking of the Pacers, they play the Wizards tonight on ESPN at 8. That's going to be a fantastic game. I might even watch that. But anyway, the Cavaliers beat the Pacers 132-117. The Cavs outscored the Pacers by 22 in the third quarter. LeBron had 25 points, made 1 3-pointer, had 1 offensive rebound, 5 defensive rebounds, for a total of 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 turnovers, 1 block. Kevin Love, 14 points, 1 3-pointer, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. Thompson, 6 points, and nobody else really. Kyrie Irving, 29 points, 29 points, and 7 assists. But the main guy that night was Kyle Korver. 29 points. How many He attempted 9 3-pointers and made 8 of them. That's huge. For Indiana, Paul George led the way with 22 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. Actually, no. Jeff Teague and C.J. Miles. C.J. Miles had 23 points for Indiana, and Jeff Teague had 22 points. So both teams got balanced attacks, but I just think the Cavaliers played tougher. And I don't know what the reason is. Because the next night, they didn't look like the Thunder kind of blitzed them out of the gym. Even though it turned into, I think it was only 118. Yeah, 118-109. But the Thunder game was worse than the score indicates. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So when you play the Pacers, you know you're going to have to fight to beat them. Even when Frank Vogel was their head coach, which he has not done that well in Orlando because the Magic are just a bad team this season. Eastern Conference standings. Yeah, the Magic have the 13th best record in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, that's not good. So, but right now, the Pacers are a good team, like I said. So that was a big win for the Cavaliers. And they really got contributions from everybody. Like I said, Kyrie, Kevin Love, Kyle Korver. But Kay Felder, he is not ready to be, the Cavaliers' backup point guard yet. It's like the Cavaliers are being stubborn or something. They signed Derek Williams to a 10-day contract. He is not a backup point guard. He is a forward. That is not what the Cavaliers need. How many times do I have to say this? They need a backup point guard like DJ Augustine or maybe Rondo. I don't know. But Cavaliers, stop being stubborn and get a backup point guard. Kay Felder is not ready for that yet. Get it through your heads. Seriously. Okay, I know. I got a little bit agitated about that. But it's been an ongoing issue, and the team seems to be just a little bit stuck in their ways about it. And it's kind of frustrating. Because DeAndre Liggins, who the Cavs usually play as backup point guard if Kyrie gets the day off, he can't score. He's mainly a defensive guy. Yes, he played well against Curry on Christmas, but then Curry went off in Golden State. But anyway, talking about this Pacer game. Both teams, it was an intense game from start to finish, just like the Washington game. But this Central Division is much improved. If Jabari Parker had stayed healthy, I think the Central Division was going to be the toughest division, even though the Cavaliers, I think, are going to win it outright. The rest of those teams will be fighting for playoff positioning, for playoff spots. But I don't think Chicago will end up getting in. And if they do, it's only by luck. Because they're a mess right now. But so are the Knicks. We don't need to get into that. Anyway, sorry I'm getting a little off track. So like I said, when you play the Pacers, you know it's gonna be a grinded out game because the Pacers rely mostly on the defensive end. they can score. They put up 117 for crying out loud. And they beat the Cavs before once already earlier in the season in Indiana. So, like I said, Indiana is probably one of the hardest places to get a win. And that's because the Pacers don't just rely on Paul George, which I think the Cavs rely on LeBron a little bit too much, but, you know. But Indiana made additions to help Paul George. You know, they brought in Jeff Teague, who I think is a better fit for the Pacers than George Hill. George Hill, I think, is fits what Utah wanted to do, what Utah wants to do much better. Because George Hill seemed like the Pacers wanted to try and, you know, speed up the game, and George Hill would just walk and dribble. And that slowed the Pacers down. Now with Jeff Teague, they're a very dangerous team. I will not be surprised if they are able to if they do make it to the playoffs, they will not be an easy team to knock out. If somehow, right now, if the playoffs started today, this would be the playoff matchups. Cavaliers, Pistons, Celtics, Bulls, Wizards, Pacers, Raptors, Hawks. The best playoff matchup for that is definitely Wizards, Pacers. And those two teams played each other tonight. So, talking about last night's game now against Oklahoma City. The Thunder did a good job not looking ahead to tomorrow night's game when Kevin Durant returns. Which, again, I think OKC should, you know, stand up and applaud him, but they're not going to do that. And I'm not going to give my opinion on, what the heck, I will. Side note, this is how I feel about Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. He took the easy way out. He should have stayed with Oklahoma City. He was up 3-1 against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. And the Warriors came back. And then you're going to go to the team that came back and prevented you from going to the NBA Finals? Are you kidding? So, I think he took the easy way out. But, yeah. Anyway, Russell Westbrook is just an animal. Westbrook has really made the Thunder his team. He was kind of forced to, thanks to KD going to Golden State. But they've had surprising guys step up. Steven Adams, he's continued to have success from last season. Roberson, I don't know if it's Andre Roberson or Andre Robertson. It's one of the two. But he's kind of like DeAndre Liggins for the Cavaliers. Neither one of them can really shoot. Robertson can shoot better than Liggins can, but not that much better. But he's much more of a defensive player. But you don't put him on LeBron because, yeah. Let's look at the stats from the game last night. Westbrook got his 26th triple-double of the season. That guy is just a beast. Starting with the victorious Thunder. Like I said, Roberson had 8 points, so nothing impressive. Sabonis, 8 points, not that impressive. Steven Adams had 20 points and 13 rebounds. That's what the Thunder needs to. And Oladipo had 23 points. Now, because OKC made that trade, Westbrook has a true backcourt mate now, like backcourt guy now. But again, who's going to play small forward for them? Robertson? No way. He's a defensive, like I said, he's a defensive player, but give me, if they were to somehow, if they play the Spurs in the conference semifinals, Kawhi Leonard's just going to laugh at Andre Robertson and be like, bye, and score like 35 points against him. So both games were, I'm happy with the performance of the Cavaliers in these last two games. Now they got to get ready for the Denver Nuggets, who unfortunately lost Kenneth Faried due to a leg injury in the Nuggets' last game against Atlanta. Denver, when they're not playing at altitude, they're not as good of a team. Over the last 5 games, Denver has gone 2-3, while the Cavs have gone 4-1. So it'll be an interesting game. Denver right now is 8th in the Western Conference, so that would mean if the playoffs started, they would unfortunately have to play the Golden State Warriors, and most likely that would lead to a series sweep. The Cavaliers are first in the Eastern Conference. At home, the Cavaliers are 22-5. As the away team, the Nuggets are 9-17. So it'll be an interesting game. The Nuggets, they're an up and down team. They've had stretches where they go up and down, where they've looked like an impressive team, and then they'll have a game where they go MIA. So I don't know what Denver Nuggets team will show up tomorrow night, but I'm hoping it's the Nuggets team that is not so good, so the Cavaliers can have an easy win. So until next time, this is Wine and Gold Unger signing off, and go Cavs.